rotation aloft, and it looks like it is just to the north of Mitchelltown. So Kingtown, probably want to go ahead and get in your safe places and stay there until this warning has been allowed to expire. So tornado warning in effect for Lauderdale County. This is going to last until 7 o'clock. I have circled that area of rotation for you. You can see it right here. Like I mentioned earlier, we don't have any indication whatsoever that this is a confirmed tornado on the ground. We are just seeing the ingredients that we need for this thing to be rotating at the moment. I want to go ahead and turn it over to our radar. I'll clear things out for you so you do get a better idea of things, and I'm going to turn back over onto the radar. We are seeing a lot of lightning with this storm as well. I do want to mention that gusty winds are going to be a threat with this as well. 30, 40, potentially 50 mile per hour winds associated with this, and we are seeing some reports of some hail as well. So this particular storm, it looks like it's going to go between Lexington and Anderson. Here's that track line for you so you can get a better idea. It looks like it will be crossing over the Alabama-Tennessee state line. So tornado warning until 7 o'clock this evening. The past few scans, this particular area hasn't seen any tightening with this, so it looks to be relatively broad in nature, which is good indication for us, but we are going to obviously stay with you guys as long as this thing is warned. So tornado warning in effect right now for Lauderdale County. I'm going to swap this over to our Columbus radar because we will get a better idea on how the rotation looks with this as well. Forgive me if I take a little bit of time here. So the rotation does look a little better with the Huntsville radar as it does get closer to the actual radar site. So there is that area of rotation. Let's zoom things out, kind of start fresh. Like I mentioned earlier, I am going to be very repetitive. It is a tornado warning, so I want to make sure that you guys are the safest as you can be. Obviously, you want to make sure that you're in your most interior room of your home, whether that be a hallway, have all the doors closed, a bathroom, anything like that. Storm shelter and basement going to be your safest place. You want to have something to protect your head. Bicycle helmets, obviously, but we're picking up on lots of rainfall as this as well. It is nighttime, so these things are kind of hard to see. You know, the sun sets earlier this time of the night. So here is that polygon that you see right here. That line has it moving through Lexington and Anderson and just between those towns. So let's go ahead and draw a new track on this and get you some times for this particular storm. Like I did mention earlier, these things have been relatively short-lived. We have not seen any warning that has been extremely long by any means, but obviously we are going to be watching this very closely. So Lexington, about 5 minutes for you guys. Grassy, about 9 minutes for you. Powell, 12 minutes. Malone, about 18 minutes. Minor Hill, 21. Legtown, about 21 to 25. Oak Grove, 25. Bethel, 26. Anthony Hill, 27. And about 28 to 29 minutes for Kedron. So I'm going to go ahead and take this track off because this thing is going to start to cross over into Tennessee here within the next few minutes or so. So like I said, tornado warning. This is going to go in effect until 7 o'clock this evening for Lauderdale County. So let's go ahead and refresh things. We'll start over. I want to go back over to our rotation detection just to see if we are seeing any tightening within these past few scans. Probably not. Yeah, see, it's still very broad at the moment, but it is still there and still definitely something to be concerned about. So tornado warning, Lauderdale County until 7 o'clock. Be in your safe places if you can hear my voice and you are located within this polygon. So here's that area of rotation. It's right here if you can see it. I'm going to kind of circle it with my hand, I guess you could say. But this is that particular area that we're watching. We haven't seen the reds and the greens getting tighter by any means. We just got a new scan and it's remaining pretty broad at the moment, but the rotation is still there. Let's go ahead and swap things over to our shear rate. We could probably get a better idea of where exactly that rotation is. This is kind of what we like to call a rotation detection using our shear rate. So you can get a better idea that that particular rotation is right there. So let's see if the National Weather Service has said anything else. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Colbert and Franklin. So not a new tornado warning. We're just watching this one tornado warning for Lauderdale County that's going to last until 7 o'clock this evening. I mentioned earlier, we have been watching these particular cells out ahead of that main line. That's what we've been watching for the most. It's been a warm afternoon here, and dew points have been in the upper 50s, lower 60s, which is not what we like to see for this time of year. I mean, it's December, but we all know that this is our secondary severe weather season here. So let's swap it back over to the radar. I want to zoom things out again for you so you can get a better idea of just exactly what I'm looking at as well. And I'm going to swap it to our radar and show you just exactly where that line is that we've been tracking. So this is the main line. We've been watching cells out ahead of it pop through, develop out ahead of it that have become stronger in nature, but we have the instability that we need for these storms to develop into a tornado warning, which is what we've got right now. So still no indication whether or not this is a confirmed tornado on the ground, but we are still tracking that one particular area of rotation that is in Lauderdale County. It is just to the northeast of Florence. So Florence, you're going to be fine in this situation, probably just hearing a lot of rainfall. Damaging wind gusts are also going to be a threat with some of these storms as well, producing a lot of lightning in this particular storm also. So let's go ahead and swap it back over to our velocity data and see if we have any indication of some tightening. I need to swap it back over to the Huntsville radar. What we watch for the most is where the areas of red and green start to touch, which is exactly what this is. It's an indication of some broad rotation at the moment. But the past few scans, we haven't seen any tightening whatsoever. That's pretty much how some of these storms have been today, not making it all the way till their expiration, which this particular storm is right around 7 o'clock is when it's going to be allowed to expire by the National Weather Service. Like I mentioned earlier, as of now, we have no reports whether or not that this is a confirmed tornado. We're just still seeing that rotation aloft, which some of these storms have been rotating throughout the afternoon, but they have been very, very broad and haven't really had to be indicative of a tornado. So I'm going to get that off of the screen so you can see a better idea. It does look like this tornado warning, let's see, the National Weather Service, they're just continuing the tornado warning, so still going to keep this thing going. Like I mentioned earlier, we've got about 20 minutes left on this particular polygon. Let's go ahead and zoom some things in, and I'll show you guys. Like I said earlier, it is looking like it's going to be moving between Lexington and Anderson. So if you're in either of those towns, probably want to seek shelter, especially if you are in this polygon as well. Now, if you are to the south of this storm, so areas like Killen along, let's see, let's zoom things in. I can get a better idea of where exactly this thing is. So if you're in Killington, Parkertown, you're definitely fine from this storm. Like I mentioned earlier, Florence, Muscle Shoals, definitely not going to be including you within this. This particular tornado warning is on the extreme northeastern part of Lauderdale County. So we do have a few thunderstorm warnings that are producing down to the south, so we are watching Lauderdale and Colbert counties and Franklin counties as well. We're keeping our eyes mostly on those three counties at the moment, which is honestly where the better instability has been throughout this afternoon. Like I mentioned earlier, it has been a very warm afternoon here across the area. Dew points were in the 60s in some locations, so that is a good indicator that severe weather could be potential here today, and that's exactly what we've got in some locations. Severe thunderstorm warnings probably have been prompted due to some damaging wind gusts, but this particular storm that we're watching for rotation, that is where that tornado warning is. And like I mentioned earlier, it is going to be set to expire right around 7 o'clock this evening, so we've got about 19 minutes left. Not seeing any strengthening within this particular cell, so that is some good news. Still no indication whether we have a confirmed tornado on the ground. If I had to bet, this thing is continuing to be very broad. Notice we're we're not really seeing the reds and greens touch like what we would typically look out for with a tornado warning. So that is some good news that the storm looks to be weakening. Let's go ahead and I'll put some new towns and times on this thing for you. I know that's probably gives you a better idea of where exactly this storm is headed. Now, either way, if you're not currently in this tornado warning, but this particular storm could potentially be in your path, damaging wind gusts have been associated with some of these storms as well. So going to have to watch out for that too. So Grassy, about 5 minutes. Powell, about 9 minutes. Malone, about 16. Minor Hill, 19. Oak Grove, about 24. Bethel, 25. And Anthony Hill by 27. This thing is getting ready to cross over into Giles County, so portions of southwestern Giles County probably need to go ahead and be on alert for this storm as well. No indication whether or not they're going to extend this particular warning to Giles County, but we're just going to have to wait and see. Let's check on these storms down here. We're not seeing any rotation in these yet. If we are going to be seeing any, right now we are just tracking some hail and damaging wind gusts. We do have a storm back behind this tornado warned storm. So Florence Muscle Shoals is included in this particular polygon. So and you probably just saw this pop up. A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued downstream of that tornado warning. So I'm thinking that's probably what the National Weather Service is going to keep going at the moment. But like I said, we haven't seen any strengthening within this area of rotation that we are watching at the moment. So that is some good news here. So if you are for some reason just now tuning in to us here, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. We have a tornado warning that is in effect for Lauderdale County. This is going to last until 7 o'clock this evening. So we're just shy of around 15 minutes of this storm being allowed to expire. We've been seeing these particular storms be quickly in nature, so I'm not expecting this to be a long drawn out thing. In fact, some of these warnings, most of these tornado warnings that we've seen pass through Mississippi have been allowed to expire relatively quick, considering the atmosphere has been conducive for severe thunderstorms today. I know I showed you guys last night what our storm potential was going to be, and it was still pretty high this morning, so I'm not surprised we are starting to see severe storms move through. We are picking up on a lot of lightning with this storm that's ahead of the tornado warning that we've got right now. So this one area is the polygon that you see right here. I am going to circle around it so you can see a better idea. Might not be able to see that polygon too well. This is what we're watching right here. And that's not the very best circle, but it'll do. Let's see, new scan. So not seeing anything that is concerning, but we are still tracking a very broad area of rotation. So like I said earlier, Lauderdale County is the only county that's included within this. It's the extreme northeastern side of Lauderdale County. So Lexington, Anderson, this particular area of rotation looks to be passing in between you guys. And I'll go ahead and zoom things in a little bit so you can kind of get a better idea that Grassy and Powell right here going to be next in line for this particular storm that we are watching. So if you're in Comer, Kingtown, probably clear from this as well. Sweetgum, Artdale, probably clear from this as well. So we're just going to continue to stay with you guys, obviously, until this is allowed to expire around 7 o'clock. So we have about 14 more minutes left with this storm. There is looks like a downstream severe thunderstorm warning for this storm just to the north of the tornado warned storm that we're tracking at the moment. So let's go ahead and swap back things over to our radar. We'll start over, refresh for you guys. We're watching this one. We only have one tornado warning At the moment, that is to the extreme northeastern side of Lauderdale County. So here is that polygon that you see right here. It is starting to pick up on some lightning with this storm as well. And we're just going to continue to watch this. We haven't seen any tightening with the rotation, so that is definitely some good news, if I have to say. Let me check and see if the National Weather Service has given us any new information. It doesn't look like it at the moment. No damage reports from this. So we're just going to keep this tornado warning going until about 7 o'clock this evening. Now, they have indicated that some hail is potentially with this. Let's see if we can get our hail swath on with this. If I can pull it up. Let's see. Here it is. So there's some of that hail that we're picking up at the moment. So hail is going to be probably within some of these storms that we see today as well, because we do have the colder air aloft, which is what we need for hail development within some of these storms. So here's the radar one more time. Heavy rainfall with this. It is nighttime, so tornadoes very hard to see. We don't like nocturnal tornadoes, but this is what we've got going on at the moment. So between Lexington and Anderson was that one area that we were watching. We still are watching it. I'm going to swap things back over to our velocity, and it's still very broad in nature, which is usually what we see once we see these storms move through around December into January. If we do see a tornado from this, it is pretty weak and very brief in nature, but we still have no indication, no word whether or not that this thing is on the ground. Haven't heard any reports of a funnel cloud, anything like that. But we are watching this one area of broad rotation, and we're going to continue to watch it until this tornado warning has been allowed to expire. So 7 o'clock, seeing a lot of lightning within this storm as well. There's that area of rotation that we are currently watching. Mentioned earlier, we usually like to see if the reds and greens are touching. That's where we have that area of rotation right here. So that is what we're going to be tracking throughout the next 12 minutes or so. Mentioned earlier, this thing will be allowed to expire right around 7 o'clock this evening. So Lauderdale County is the only county that is currently in a tornado warning at the moment. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings that are to the south and west, so portions of Lauderdale County like Florence, Muscle Shoals, Red Bay, probably in the severe thunderstorm warning that's below the tornado warning. And then, of course, we're watching Colbert and Franklin counties for severe thunderstorm warning there as well. So Lauderdale County, this is the only tornado warning that we have at the moment, and we're just going to continue to stay with you guys until this thing is allowed to expire, if it is allowed to expire at 7 o'clock. So we're just shy of about 9 minutes for this particular storm. So let's go ahead and add some new times for some towns, get you guys a better idea of just exactly where and how long this thing is going to be until it heads your way. If I can get a storm track on this particular storm for you guys. My mouse is not doing the best at the moment, but we are going to make do with what we have. So here it goes. Grassy, 6 minutes. Powell, 9 minutes. Malone, 17 minutes. Minor Hill, about 20 minutes. Legtown, 22 minutes. Oak Grove, around 23. Bethel, 24. And Anthony Hill, right around 26. So this storm is still continuing to move to the north and east. I think the National Weather Service said it was moving at about 40 miles per hour. So it is relatively moving quickly. So here's that area of rotation we're continuing to watch between Lexington and Anderson, still picking up on a lot of lightning. So that could be indicative of some potential strengthening, but looking at the rotation, not seeing any strengthening within that as well. Let's swap it over to our shear rate. Our shear rate kind of gives you a better idea of rotation. We like to call it rotation detection type thing. So you guys can understand it a little better. And these warnings will not go away for some reason. Let's clear them out. See if I can clear them out this way. But yeah, our shear rate is showing some rotation aloft just to the south and west of Grassy. So seeing that area, it is going to continue to move north and eastward. Powell going to be seeing this storm. Anderson probably going to be seeing this storm as well. County Road 515, County Road 576 could potentially see the outskirts of this storm as well. But this particular storm is going to be allowed to expire right around 7 o'clock. Looks like we just got a new storm report from the Weather Service. That's for Cherokee in Colbert County from that severe thunderstorm warning. Like I mentioned earlier, thunderstorm warnings today are for the damaging wind gusts that we had that potential to see in some of these storms, which is still the greatest threat that we're going to be tracking. The tornado threat is still going to stay low for the rest of these storms throughout the rest of the evening and into tonight. So I'm going to zoom things out so you can see just exactly where that main line that we're watching is, and get you guys a better idea. So swap it over to Huntsville radar, and there are these storms. Notice it's really a line of severe thunderstorm warnings that we've got going on right here, and then we've got the one tornado warning that's still in effect for Lauderdale County, the extreme northeastern side of Lauderdale County. Seeing a lot of lightning within these storms as well, potentially some heavy rainfall. Hail has become a problem with some of these storms too. So not only are we dealing with a tornado threat, we're also dealing with severe thunderstorm warnings throughout the rest of this evening. And we're going to have to watch for those damaging wind gusts, because damaging wind gusts sometimes can be just as powerful as a very, very low end tornado, especially if we see gusts around 60, 70 miles per hour. I'm not expecting 70 miles per hour, but definitely some powerful wind gust potential throughout the rest of this evening. And a lot of lightning still within this storm. So this storm still has a little bit of power to it. Let's see if our velocity is showing anything different, and it still looks like it's very broad. So honestly, I don't see them extending this past 7 o'clock. I do think that the storm will be allowed to expire at 7. If that is the case, then I will do a very quick debriefing with you guys on what everything else looks like. I know if you're not in Lauderdale County, probably don't give a flip about what's happening at the moment, but the people in Lauderdale County do, so that is why I am breaking in right now. So Lexington, Anderson, seeing that storm pass through the middle of you guys. It is looking like it's about to clip into Tennessee, right around that Alabama-Tennessee state line is probably where this thing's going to be going within the next few minutes or so. So if you're just joining for some reason, we're about 6 minutes shy of a tornado warning potentially being allowed to expire for Lauderdale County. So far, knock on wood, that this is the only tornado warning that we have seen so far in the Tennessee Valley throughout the day today. Now this thing kind of just is getting started for some of us. But with us starting to get closer into the nighttime, it isn't the most ideal situation for nocturnal tornado potential out there. So not seeing any increasing in strength within this storm that we're watching. Like I said earlier, when the reds and the greens touch, that's indicative of where that area of rotation is. So it is still very broad. Here it is right there. It's just to the north and a little bit eastward of Anderson, that area of rotation that we're watching. So within the next few minutes or so, this thing will get ready to cross into Tennessee and Giles County, the southern portion of Giles County. Probably going to have to watch out for the storm as well in case it were to re-strength heading into Giles County, the southern portion of Giles County. So right now, they've got a severe thunderstorm warning going on. We're about 5 minutes shy of potentially letting this severe tornado warning expire. They did issue this around 6:30. We're getting close to that 7 o'clock hour. The rotation is very, very, very broad aloft. Powell in the area of concern for this as well. So here's that area right here. It's just to the north of County Road 526. It is going to be continuing to move northeastward at about 40 miles per hour. So let's put some new towns on this. I know this area has been shifting more northeastward, so some towns that I called out earlier probably not going to be in the line for this storm that we're tracking. So let's go ahead and put a new track on this. Okay, so they did allow that tornado warning to expire, but Bethel, Lester's, Aspen Hill, Poplar Hill, 26 minutes, 25 minutes for Aspen Hill. But they are going to allow this tornado warning to expire. So definitely is some good news. Like I said, we haven't really seen any signs of that's been indicative of the storm strengthening. So it has started to weaken, and it is going to be moving into the southern portion of Giles County. So let's debrief for you guys now that we do have that tornado warning that has been allowed to expire. And then I'll let you guys go here in a moment, so you can get back to the program you were watching. Let's swap it back over to the radar. So we are still going to be watching for the damaging wind threat throughout the rest of this evening. As this line of storms progresses eastward, the threat will start to diminish. We only have that tornado watch for areas that's mainly along I-65 and to the west, with the exception of Madison County is included in that tornado watch as well. That's going to last until about 11 o'clock here as well. It could expire early, honestly, because these storms are already starting to roll through, and it's almost 7. So here's the line that we're going to be watching. We've been watching this all afternoon. Some of these cells have produced severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings off in western area, so areas of Mississippi west of the Tennessee Valley. Here is that main line, and it is a very defined line of showers and storms, and it's going to stay that way throughout the rest of tonight and into early Sunday morning, our extreme eastern side of the Tennessee Valley. So Jackson, DeKalb counties, that's probably when they're going to be seeing it, is late tonight, early Sunday morning. So no active tornado warnings at the moment. We're just tracking a line. It is a well-defined line of severe thunderstorm warnings. Mainly these are for damaging wind gusts and some hail that's been reported in some of these storms throughout the afternoon. So I think I'm going to stay with you guys until about 7 o'clock just to make sure we don't have anything suspicious happen throughout the next 2 minutes or so, and I will send you back to your regular programming by then. But I know the polygon is still there, but the National Weather Service, they have gone ahead and expired the tornado warning for Lauderdale County. So there's that storm. It's going to be crossing over into Tennessee here within the next minutes or so. Giles County, southern portion of Giles County, probably going to be seeing that particular storm move through. So it could still be pretty strong, make a strong impact to some locations. Damaging wind gusts was our primary threat for today. It is still going to be our primary threat, but just know that our atmosphere is still it still has the ingredients that it needs for a tornado warning to become issued if we do have one that does become issued. So here's that line of showers and storms one more time, and then I'm going to let you guys go, get back to your programming. But of course, if we do have a new tornado warning that does become issued, I will break back in for you guys. But there's that line. Notice we're seeing some purples, could be some heavy rainfall. Within this, damaging wind gusts have been the primary focus for this evening, and it's going to continue to stay that way. We have seen reports of some damage right around Cherokee in Colbert County. That has seen some thunderstorm wind damage. So damaging wind gusts still going to be our main concern for these storms that's in front of that cold front. It's going to be moving through. Now tomorrow's going to be a much different story. It's going to be, I think I had a forecasted high in the upper 40s for tomorrow. So this is a pretty decently powerful cold front that we've got moving through that's been producing these showers and storms. So there's that main line one more time. I'll turn off our icons so you can see a little better. So Lauderdale, Colbert, Franklin, really seeing the rain at the moment, going to continue to push more eastward. And then it looks like these storms will start to move closer to Huntsville within the next few hours or so. We're going to start to see that rainfall here in the metro. So while we have no active tornado warnings on our radar, we're still going to be tracking them behind the scenes. We're going to continue to track these severe thunderstorm warnings as well. If you're not following us on Facebook, FOX54, you can also follow me on Facebook. Emily Owen, I'll be posting updates there as well. And our app, make sure to have our app downloaded, FOX54, so we will be able to ping you if we do have any more tornado warnings that do become issued. But for now, we have no active warnings across the Tennessee Valley. I'm going to continue to track these. And of course, if we do have a new tornado warning that does become issued, I will break back into programming. But for now, I am going to send you back to your regular programming.